My next guest is back in action at UFC Fight Night coming up here on March 20th. It's Trevin Giles back here on the program. Trevin, how's it going, man?
Doing pretty good, man.
I bet. It's good to see you back. Of course, coming off that big win last year, getting that finish over Bevon Lewis. How satisfying was that victory, especially with the fact it was, I think, your first finish since 2017?
It was good. It was satisfying. I'm glad to get back to what I used to be doing.
Anything different these last couple fights? Obviously, a bit of a winning streak heading into this one.
No, nothing different. Just continue with the same training I've been having. Obviously, we emphasize some new things depending on whoever we're going against, but had a really good game plan and I was in pretty good shape for my last fight, so everything went how I wanted it to. Was
this the right amount of time off in between fights?
Yeah. I think this time is perfect for me, so I'm happy with it. I'm happy with all the time I've had.
Let's talk about your opponent here. Did you know much about him before taking this fight, or was it one of those situations you had to kind of go look him up after the fact?
I had to kind of look him up after the fact. I'm not sure what card it was on where he just got that knockout.
Yeah, it was a few months back. I was trying to remember exactly when it was, but yeah.
I ended up having to look him up after the fact. And he has a nice, decent following from where he's from. So I saw like a little bit of hype around him. So I looked him up, and of course, obviously, when he came across the contract, I looked him up and just did a little bit of strategizing on him. Obviously, still strategizing and stuff, but as of right now, we pretty much got our game plan and we're ready to go. So.
Yeah, and I know this is something we kind of talk about every interview, but obviously you do have the full-time job, being a police officer. How have things been, this camp in terms of managing training and doing everything else? Because I know it's easy to get overworked, right? You're also a dad as well.
Mm-hmm. Everything's good. Again, it's just having to make sure that I'm training and making that my priority. My wife helps out a lot with that, and being able to take care of a lot of the other things that are going on. But yeah, it's just being able to try to work things around and try to be consistent with my schedule.
And the weight cut, same thing. Like, I know kind of now you've kind of figured out how to eat good while also, working a day job as well. Cause it's very easy when you're working crazy hours to get that fast food or whatever. Right. So I'm sure things are more under control in that sense. Right.
Yeah. Everything's pretty good. I mean, even with my meals and stuff, I'm just starting to work with Eat to Evolve, so they're sending me in some meals. Shout out to them. They got some great meals, and they're keeping my weight down. So I'm satisfied with that, and it's very smooth. My weight cutting and everything we haven't really started cutting hard or anything like that, obviously. But as far as the nutrition and the food I'm getting, it's good.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Have you had a meal prep company do your food before? I feel like your wife was doing it, was she not?
No. So she definitely helped out a lot, but for the most part, she makes food taste too good, and it adds on a little bit of calories and sodium and stuff. So I end up having to do it myself sometimes. So I used to do a lot of meal prepping myself. My wife would definitely chip in with that and try and help out as well. But yeah, it was just us.
Well, how much of a kind of a weight off your shoulders is that? Because I meal prep for the week. I make my lunches. I'm not fighting. I'm not having to fuel myself to perform at a certain level, right? So to have someone else do it for you, how much easier has that been for this camp? I know you don't cut a ton of weight, but still, it's nice not to have to deal with that, right?
Yeah, it's way easier. And meal prepping takes so much time. I mean, anybody that meal preps and, just preparing the food and then trying to portion it out and all that stuff and trying not to waste the food as well. Because if you meal prep enough, some goes bad and you end up having to throw it away and all this other stuff. So it's just great when having that provided for me now.
It is part of you I wish I would have done it sooner?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. It's a great thing. I definitely wish I would have done that sooner. One thing that really made me want that is when we go to the PI. Right?
Oh, the trifecta, right? They hook you up with the meals, right?
Yeah, exactly. So they would hook us up with that. And I was just thinking, man, this would be nice to have all the time, right? I'd be in shape all the time. There'd be no reason for me not to be, not to be healthy and eating good. So Yeah,
Okay.
but I got it now, so it's all good.
Training partners, everything pretty much the same. Who you mainly working with for this camp?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I get Alex Morono comes in every now and then. He's in and out, and he always hits me up and lets me know, hey, whenever you want to work, he comes through. Working with Charlie every now and then. Charlie Ontiveros, I got some really good bodies, some really good work. There's some other guys that are up and comers that have been helping me out. The coaching staff has been doing a great job. We're excited to go into this fight and get this victory.
I know I think we spoke about this last time, but has there ever been a thought of going to cross train at Fortis like Alex does it all, just because you get those bodies over there, like your Jeff Neals and some of the other names out there?
Yeah. I spoke to Jeff Neal a couple of times and told him that I'd come down there. I'm still meaning to make that trip, man, but sometimes it gets a little hard with my schedule and stuff. And then not only that, but it seems like every time I end up getting like some little tweaks or something like that to where it'd be a waste of time for me to go down there, So I just recently had a weird little cut on my one of my toes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I got split open by a toenail.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, a toenail did it, and it was a nice incision. Looked like a scalpel. Somebody put a scalpel to it, but yeah, it was really bad. But it healed up very fast, and I didn't miss much training at all. So we're still going. But little stuff like that happen, and then I can't make the trip. So. But I still plan on making it out there to Fortis.
So yeah, just kind of what you were saying there. So was the plan to actually go to Fortis for this camp for a little bit, and then that happened? Is that what you were kind of saying there?
Yeah. So I had talked to Alex before. We were just going to, talking about him just riding up there to Fortis together and getting some training, maybe for a weekend or something like that. And then, just kind of on and off, like whenever we can make it out there. But then just, things get in the way sometimes. But
yeah, like a random cut, right? Which is crazy.
Something like that happens from time to time, but it's all good.
How long is that drive for you to go to Fortis?
From here to Dallas is I think it's like 4 hours.
Is it really? Okay, yeah, just a Canadian over here, no clue when it comes to U.S. geography, so I wasn't sure how long it was, but that's a pretty amount of, that's 8 hours, round trip, right? That's a lot. So.
Yeah, it's a decent drive.
Who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
I'm going to have my boy Lee. It's going to be the same corner. I'm going to have Jeremy, and I'm going to – so just pretty much the same guys and Adam, right? So just those three guys. It's been working so far, so we're going to keep the same crew and keep getting it done.
How's this fight playing out on March 20th? How do you envision the fight playing out?
I just envision me filling him out, testing his speed and kind of just gauging his speed and his power and stuff before I respond. And I think that I'll get a good sense of how he fights and his timing. And I think from that point it'll get kind of tough for him. I think I'm going to be a lot faster than he is. I think he knows it and he's probably planning for it. I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to do something that we really haven't seen out of him. But I think that I can get him to a certain point of desperation and then finish him with a TKO.
Obviously, get another win here. That's, I think, 3 in a row for you. Where do you see a win putting you?
Yeah, I don't know exactly where it puts me. I don't know. I think that I'll probably start drawing bigger names after this. I think that's about it. I mean, I'll probably end up just drawing a bigger, more known name after this fight. But I don't know. I mean, for the most I'm going to gain out of this, I feel, is obviously a paycheck and just more momentum going into whoever I'm going to fight next. To me, I just take it as an opportunity to keep that momentum going and just kind of keep investing into the next fight.
I mentioned your job earlier, being a police officer. Are you on a stakeout right now? You kind of look like you're dressed for it a little bit. I got to be honest.
Am I on a stakeout? No.
Just making sure. Don't want to blow your cover.
No, I just got a little chilly out here. So
oh yeah, that's right. Oh, I was going to ask you about that too. With obviously everything going on in Texas with the crazy weather and it getting cold. Did you guys get impacted by that at all with the power outages and stuff?
Oh yeah, for a couple of nights it was very cold. So it was just me and my wife trying to trying to keep our boys warm, so. But it was rough for a couple of nights, but we made it happen.
Were you worried at all when that happened that it might impact your fight, like in terms of training and all that, with everything shut down? Because it's so unexpected to have snow in Texas, right? It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, people are still suffering right now. There are people that still don't have water and stuff, and it's kind of crazy, So, I mean, and then even afterwards, we had a what did they call it? A boil water alert, where basically, if you were gonna have any water from, the faucet or if you're gonna cook or whatever, that you needed to boil your water because somehow they got contaminated with something. So.
It's crazy.
But yeah, it was kind of rough. I mean, it's still affecting a lot of people right now, but we're making it okay.
That's good. A lot of your calls, like with your job, is it like related to that, where people are needing help with certain things just because with all the outages and stuff? Do you find that?
Yeah, well, for us, it's been more of there have been people trying to break into things, just like everywhere. When you get a power outage, people try to take advantage. I mean, it sucks, but people will sit there and try to take advantage of other people that are struggling, trying to burglarize somebody's car, their business or whatever, So we've been getting a lot of those, but we've been taking care of it.
Have you ever arrested anyone and they recognized you that you were a UFC fighter?
I've arrested somebody, made it to the jail, and then somebody in the jail recognized me. Somebody else that got arrested and looked at me and said, "Oh shit, it's Trevin Giles." And it was weird. It was strange to me, but yeah, it's happened.
It's part of the job. Before we go, I wanted to give you some credit here. You had a really great, I know this is a couple months old, but you had a good kind of, I don't know if it was like a photo or whatever, a good like post on Instagram talking about McGregor losing, because a lot of people were making fun of him for losing, but you kind of pointed out, which is true, which is a lot of the people that are probably in the sport are because of him. So, just your thoughts on the sort of the way fans are kind of very fair weather in that sense, where they're loving you 1 minute and then when you lose, they're turning your backs on you. It's kind of an unfortunate part of the sport.
Yeah, I mean, people are fake like that. I mean, it's just, for the most part, it seems like that's how a lot of people are. And I feel like, more so in this sport, it seems like fans are just wishy-washy. It's like they're trying to attach. I don't know if it just has something to do with things going on in their lives or whatever.
I have a theory. Do you want to hear my theory here for a second? Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a lot of fans that wish they could fight. Okay. And the only way that they can compensate for that is being absolutely as shitty as possible on social media. So that's their way of making themselves feel better because they wish they could do what you guys are doing. Does that make sense? Because we're all primal. We all wish we could. I mean, fighting's in our DNA as the kind of the common saying, but I think a lot of it is people wish they could fight. And so this is their way of being like, oh, see, I know you can fight, but I can throw this insult at you to make myself feel better,
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. I think it makes them feel bigger. It's like they get to sit back and not risk anything and then just talk about you when you're out there doing what you need to do to succeed, So I think it's just easy for them, if it'd be different if they had to watch a fight 1 week and they were fighting the next week. Then you would see them saying, "Oh, well, this guy sucks because he got knocked out," right? Because you risk getting knocked out now. You have some skin in the game, So it's easy to talk mess. Just, I can never stand that though. I mean, I forgot who did it. I forgot what the fighter's name that did it, but after his on his post
Curtis
fight,
Blades. See, the guy called him and made fun of him for getting knocked out. You remember that? Is that what you're talking about?
No, it wasn't Curtis. It was I don't know if he was an Italian guy or something, but he got on his post-fight interview. He barely.
Alessio Di Chirico when he beat Buckley. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's it. So it was, to me, that was, it's the same thing with Buckley, right? Buckley came off a nice knockout, came in and then got knocked out, and now all of a sudden the nice knockout means nothing. It doesn't mean anything anymore. Now it's people are like, oh, well, he sucks, and so much for the Buckley hype train and all that other stuff. Right now, people are talking mess like the guy's not still a dangerous man. So it's really annoying to me. And I definitely agree with what he said when he got on his post-fight interview and he was saying how he thinks the winner, not only should the winner get interviewed, but also the guy that loses. Because we're all professional athletes. You're talking about the best.
Okay, let me cut you off there for a second. I actually disagree with that, because if you had to interview every winner and loser from every, first off, what if someone's knocked out? You're not going to interview him. Second off, if we had to interview every winner and loser, that press conference is going to like 5 a.m. because it takes forever. Even with the winners coming out, it still goes late into the night. So I can understand why they don't want to do that. I think he'd have a better case if he said, hey, look, before the fight, you guys only interviewed Buckley. You should be interviewing me as well. I'm totally with him there. But after the fight, I mean, if you get knocked out in a fight, I don't think you should be interviewed, in my opinion. But
yeah, so I think if you get knocked out and you don't have your wits about you, like I mean, I hate to bring it up, but when Joe Rogan was interviewing Cormier, right after getting knocked out, his head was straight and stuff like that. So I think it'd be different if you have your wits about you. I do think that there should. I understand that there's a time and everything, but I feel like there's a way to, because I feel like the guy that wins, he gets a lot of respect, and then the guy that loses, he's just like, he's not even really in the conversation. He's just like, okay, we don't care how great you are, you just lost. Like, go somewhere and hear crickets. You know what I mean? Like, nobody cares about what you did to prepare for this fight. Nobody cares about your experience in there, even though most of us can't get in there and have that experience, right? I mean, when's the last time you were able to be in a traumatic experience and let somebody know what happened or what's going on? That's a whole nother side of the sport that we're missing. And if you look at any other, I won't say any other sports, but if you look at a lot of the other sports, you'll see that, they will interview the winners. They'll interview the guys that lost, right? Because that's another part of the story. You're only hearing one half from the guy that just won, all right? Like, what about what's going on with the other guy? All right, so
we'll pick this up next interview, because I agree. I partially agree with what you're saying. Like, I get it. Like, it would be good to hear all perspectives, but also, like, I don't know. I think if you lose, plus, like, how many fighters, like, maybe you would, but how many other fighters, if they lost a fight, want to be doing media after? They probably just want to go back and eat some good food, right? So there's that side of it too. So
right. Well, yeah.
Next interview, though, I'm going to remember this. We'll definitely pick this up again for sure. But Trevin, really looking forward to this fight, man. March 20th. Anyone you want to thank? Any sponsors? Any social media? I'll give you the last word.
Oh yeah, Eat to Evolve, again, those guys are great. All of my coaching staff, everybody that I get to train with, RDX for all the great equipment. I've just had so many people, man. I mean, if I'm forgetting anybody, I'm just going to generalize, but by saying, everybody that supports me, my wife, all of my family, everybody that's cheering me on, win or lose. I appreciate you guys, and shout out to you guys. Oh, but not least, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.